Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. I'm so excited you're here. Today we're diving deep into something super juicy, their hidden desires about reconciliation. Yeah, what they really want, but maybe aren't saying out loud. I know, right? Intriguing. So what makes this reading extra special? We're not just scratching the surface. We're going way beyond what they're showing you and tapping into those secret yearnings. It's all about uncovering the truth behind the mask, and giving you some clarity on whether reconciliation is even on their mind. Think of this as a sneak peek into their soul. Now, let's get to the fun part, the piles. First up, we have the Amazonite point, all about balancing. This pile is perfect if you're feeling uncertain and need to find your equilibrium. Next, we've got the clear quartz cluster, which is all about empowering your hope and courage to communicate. Then, there's the turquoise tree, harmonizing energies and bridging divides. Choose this one if you're craving understanding and forgiveness. And finally, the rose quartz heart, which is all about unveiling vulnerability and opening your heart to compassion for a tender reconciliation. Okay, so take a deep breath, clear your mind, and let your intuition guide you. No pressure at all. You can even check out a few piles. This reading is timeless, so it'll be here whenever you're watching. Trust what you feel first. And now, let's take a moment to make a wish, yeah? Close your eyes and wish for clarity, for guidance, and for the universe to reveal what you need to know about this connection. Sending you all so much love. Hey, you guys, pile with the Amazonite point, welcome. This crystal is all about balancing energies, so with the reading theme being navigating uncertainties and finding equilibrium in shifting emotions, this is all about finding your center, even when things feel chaotic. So let's see what's going on with these hidden desires about reconciliation. Ooh, this is juicy. Okay, first up, we have the Magician. This card is all about having the tools, like literally everything you need to manifest your desires. It's like this person, the one you're thinking about, they have what it takes to make this reconciliation happen, They're resourceful, they're skilled, and they're not afraid to use what they've got. But then we have the Moon. The Moon is that card of secrets, illusions, and hidden anxieties, oh my gosh. So they might want reconciliation, like really want it because of that magician energy, but there's something holding them back, something they're not fully seeing or admitting to themselves. It could be fear, it could be past hurts, maybe even some, subconscious beliefs that are messing with them. It's like they're standing in the dark, not really sure what's real and what's not, This is where that Amazonite balancing energy really comes into play, helping them see through the fog. And then, to top it all off, we have the Page of Wands. Okay, this is exciting because the page is all about new beginnings, fresh starts, and a spark of inspiration. This person definitely has a desire to reach out, to communicate, to maybe even apologize or just test the waters. It's like they're standing at the edge of a new adventure, but they're also a little nervous, a little unsure of themselves. So, putting it all together, it's like this person wants to reconcile. They have the ability to make it happen, but they're being held back by their fears and insecurities. The Page of Wands shows that there's definitely that spark of desire and a willingness to try, but they need to work through some stuff first, It's like they're holding all the cards with the Magician, but they don't even realize that they have the power to make this happen. Maybe they're scared of rejection, maybe they don't know how to approach you. Think of it like, maybe they're an artist who wants to paint you a beautiful picture. That's the Magician. But they're afraid of showing you their work because they're worried you won't like it. That's the Moon. But they're still sketching ideas in their notebook. That's that little Page of Wands energy. So, yeah, there's definitely hope for reconciliation here, but it's going to require some courage and some vulnerability on their part, and maybe a little nudge from the universe or you. Let's see what's going on next, okay. Okay, so remember how we said this person has the potential for reconciliation, but they're scared and also maybe ready to reach out? Like a whole confusing mess of emotions? Well, now we have the Fool, oh my gosh. The Fool is all about new beginnings, adventure, taking a leap of faith, even if you don't know where you're going to land. It's like complete trust in the universe, So, what does this even mean in terms of their hidden desires? Okay, so let's connect this to the other cards. We had the Magician, right? they have the skills. The Moon, big-time fears holding them back. The Page of Wands, a tiny little spark of courage. Now, the Fool is like a huge burst of impulsive energy. Could this mean they're finally ready to just go for it? Maybe they're tired of being held back by those moon anxieties, and they're just gonna, throw caution to the wind and reach out, consequences be damned. But hold on, because the Fool can also be a little reckless, right? It's about being naive, not really thinking things through. So maybe this isn't about them overcoming their fears in a healthy way. Maybe it's about them acting impulsively because they're scared, Like a desperate attempt to fix things without actually dealing with the root of the problem. It's like they could be running towards reconciliation or running away from something else entirely, disguised as reconciliation. See, this could go either way. On one hand, this could be them finally having the courage to be vulnerable and honest, to take that first step towards mending things. Maybe they're realizing that the only way to get over their fears is to face them head-on, even if it's scary. But on the other hand, this could be them acting out of desperation, making a grand gesture that isn't really genuine, just to avoid dealing with their own stuff. It's like maybe they're sending you a text at 3 a.m. after a night out, Like, I miss you. But it's not really about you, it's about them feeling lonely and wanting to fill a void. So which is it? Okay. We need the next card, because I am dying to know if this is a good leap or a bad leap. Okay, so we're trying to figure out if this Fool energy is a good thing or a bad thing, right? And now we pull the Six of Swords. Oh my gosh, this just complicates things even more. Okay, so the Six of Swords is all about transitions, moving away from something difficult like literally sailing to calmer waters. So, is this person moving towards reconciliation, or are they using the idea of reconciliation to move away from something else? See, this makes it even more confusing. Okay, so let's think about this. We know they have the ability to reconcile, that's the Magician. But they're also super scared, that's the Moon. And that Page of Wands is that little breadcrumb of hope. The Fool was the impulsive leap, right? Now, the Six of Swords says they're definitely leaving something behind. So, what are they leaving behind? Are they leaving behind their fears? Are they leaving behind their insecurities? Are they leaving behind, a bad relationship pattern? Or are they leaving you behind? Oh my God, I didn't even think of that. Maybe they think they want reconciliation, but subconsciously they're just trying to escape something else, and you're, collateral damage. Okay, but wait, let's not jump to conclusions. Maybe, just maybe, they're finally leaving behind the baggage that's been preventing them from being in a healthy relationship with you. Maybe they're, consciously choosing to move away from those moon anxieties and towards a more stable, secure future with you. That would be amazing, right? But, and there's always a but, right? What if they're using reconciliation as a way to avoid dealing with their own issues? They're running back to you because it's easier than facing whatever problems they have on their own. It's oh, I'll just go back to my ex because that's familiar and comfortable, even if it's not actually good for me. That is so frustrating. Remember that Amazonite energy, all about balance? This is where it's really important. This person needs to be honest with themselves about why they want reconciliation. Are they seeking genuine connection, or are they just trying to escape something? They need to find that equilibrium within themselves before they can even think about reconciling with you. Okay, so we're still in murky waters here, but the Six of Swords definitely adds another layer of complexity. Are they moving towards you or away from something else disguised as you? I am so curious to see what the next card is. Okay, so we're knee-deep in this emotional roller coaster, trying to figure out what this person really wants, and now we get the King of Wands. Oh my gosh, okay, this card is all about leadership, passion, and taking charge, right? The King of Wands knows what he wants, and he's not afraid to go after it, usually. So, does this mean they're finally stepping up and being all, okay, I want reconciliation, and I'm going to make it happen? Or is there something more to it? See, we still have that moon energy lurking in the background, those hidden fears and anxieties. So, even though they might be projecting this King of Wands confidence, are they really feeling it? Or are they just putting on a show? maybe they're trying to convince themselves as much as they're trying to convince you that they're ready for this. This is so complicated. Okay, but let's look at the positive side, right? Maybe this King of Wands energy is them finally finding the courage to face those fears, to step into their power and say, you know what? I messed up and I want to fix this. Maybe they're realizing that they can't keep running from their problems, and that reconciliation is the only way to move forward, like, really move forward. But, and there's always a but, isn't there? What if this King of Wands energy is just them being, like, totally controlling and manipulative? Like they think they know what's best, and they're going to bulldoze their way into your life, whether you want them to or not. That would be the worst, right? Especially with that Six of Swords still hanging in the air. Are they trying to lead you to calmer waters, or are they just dragging you along on their own chaotic journey? And remember that Fool energy, that impulsive leap. The King of Wands can sometimes be a little reckless too, right? Like, so confident in their own abilities that they don't even stop to think about the consequences. So, maybe they're making grand gestures and pronouncements, but without actually considering your feelings or needs. It's like, I'm the King of Wands, I know what's best, just trust me. When really, they're just making a mess of things. Oh my God, I'm getting stressed out just thinking about all the possibilities. This Amazonite crystal better be working overtime to balance all this crazy energy. So, yeah, the King of Wands definitely adds another layer of intensity to this whole situation. Are they a confident leader, ready to guide you both towards a brighter future? Or are they just a controlling manipulator, dragging you along for the ride? I seriously cannot wait to see what the next card is, because this is driving me crazy. Okay, so, remember we're trying to figure out if this person actually wants reconciliation, or if they're just running from their own issues and possibly dragging you down with them. It's like a confusing puzzle of fear, potential, and impulsive decisions, right? Oh my gosh. So now, the Emperor. Okay, so on the surface, this could mean they're trying to take control of the situation, they feel like things have been too chaotic, and they need to, establish some order, you know. Maybe they're seeing reconciliation as a way to do that, okay, I'm going to fix this, I'm going to be the strong one, I'm going to make the decisions. Almost like they're trying to, strong-arm the situation into working out. But, is that even genuine? Is this about control, not connection? Oh my gosh. It's are they trying to build a fortress around your relationship, instead of building an actual relationship? And, the other cards were all about, hidden feelings, so, how is the Emperor playing into that? Is that masking their true feelings? I'm getting stressed just thinking about this. But okay, let's look at it from a different angle, because that was so negative, oh my gosh. Maybe the Emperor is about them craving stability, right? After all that Fool energy and the Six of Swords moving away from something, maybe they're just, desperate for something solid, something reliable. Maybe they see reconciliation as a way to create that stability, okay, we know each other, we've been through stuff together, let's build something lasting, you know? Maybe they're actually thinking long-term for once, they are craving some long-term stability, and that's why they're being guided to reconcile, oh my gosh. It's also like the Amazonite crystal wants balance, right? Maybe the stability will bring that. But we have to consider the shadow side, right? The Emperor can be super rigid, super inflexible, completely unyielding. So, what if they're coming at this from a place of, this is how it's going to be, take it or leave it? That would be awful. And totally dismissive of your feelings and needs, so they could be trying to take authority. It's I'm an emperor, hear me roar. Okay, I need another card because I'm so confused, what is actually happening? Okay, so, remember how we've been talking about all these conflicting desires, and all this push and pull? This person wants reconciliation, but they're scared, they're impulsive, they're maybe even trying to control the situation, oh my gosh. Well, now we have the Chariot, and the Chariot is all about willpower, control, and finally taking charge of your destiny, right? So, on the one hand, this could be amazing. Maybe this is them finally harnessing all that magician energy, all that potential, and directing it towards reconciliation in a really positive way. they're not just impulsively reaching out, they're not just trying to control you, they're actually, consciously choosing to move forward with intention and with purpose. But okay, there's always a but, right? The Chariot can also be about being, super stubborn and determined to get your way, no matter what, even if it means running over other people in the process. Oh my gosh, I hope that's not what's happening. So, is this person really ready to face their fears, those moon anxieties, and move forward in a healthy way? Or are they just, putting on a strong face and trying to bulldoze their way into reconciliation without actually dealing with their own stuff? See, it all comes back to that balance that the Amazonite crystal is all about, right? This person needs to find that equilibrium within themselves before they can even think about getting back together with you. Here's the thing, though, the Chariot isn't just about willpower, it's also about direction. Where is this person actually going? Are they moving towards a genuine connection with you, or are they just running away from something else, disguised as reconciliation? It's up to you to figure out what's really going on here. Don't just blindly trust their actions. Pay attention to their words, their energy, and most importantly, your own intuition. What is your gut telling you? Are they being genuine? Are they being honest? Or are they just trying to, manipulate the situation to get what they want? Ultimately, though, this is about your journey, right? And no matter what this person decides to do, you have the power to choose your own path. You can choose to open yourself up to reconciliation, but only if it feels right for you. Only if it feels like it's coming from a place of genuine love and respect, not from a place of fear or control. And if it doesn't feel right, you have the power to say no. You have the power to choose your own happiness, your own peace of mind. So trust yourself, listen to your intuition, and remember that you deserve to be with someone who loves you for who you are, someone who supports you, and someone who is willing to put in the work to build a healthy, lasting relationship. And whatever happens, you're going to be okay. Hey there, my friend. Welcome, welcome. You chose the clear quartz cluster, so get ready for some seriously empowering vibes, okay? This crystal is all about amplifying hope, and that's exactly what we're doing here, igniting that inner spark to help you find the courage to communicate. I mean, these cards, they're already buzzing with that energy. Let's dive in, shall we? All right, so first up, we've got the King of Cups. Now, he's all about emotional balance, right? Super mature, very in control of his feelings, nothing really phases him. But, and there's always a but, isn't there? He can also be a little stuck, maybe? He's got all these emotions swirling around inside, but he's not really expressing them, you know? He might even seem a little aloof or distant, but that's just because he's got such a handle on everything. What if, though, his hidden desire is to just let go a little, to be more vulnerable, to show you how deeply he actually feels? I'm getting the sense that there's a real longing there, a desire to connect on a deeper level, if he could just get out of his own way. And then we have the Six of Swords, which is all about moving on, transitioning away from a difficult situation. Maybe there was some drama, some heartache, something that just wasn't working, and now he's trying to find his way to calmer waters, you know? It feels like he's intentionally moving away from something, but could this movement be motivated by his hidden desire, from the King of Cups, to actually reconcile? Maybe this distance is necessary for him to gain clarity, to figure out what he truly wants and how to communicate it. Like he needed to get away in order to even see what he was missing, you know. Which brings us to the Wheel of Fortune. Ooh, this is exciting. This card screams change, cycles, destiny. It's like, things are about to shift in a big way, my friend. So maybe he's been feeling stuck like the King of Cups, and he's been trying to move on like the Six of Swords, but the universe has other plans, doesn't it? This feels like fate stepping in, like this reconciliation is meant to happen, but it's going to require him to take a leap of faith, to embrace the unknown, and to finally express those hidden desires that he's been holding onto for so long, you know? Things are really about to change, I can feel it. Ooh, okay, so the moon, wow, this adds a whole other layer, doesn't it? So like with the King of Cups, he's all controlled and composed, but the moon is like, what's lurking underneath, you know? It's all about illusions, hidden fears, the subconscious, all that good stuff. I wonder, could his hidden desire be hidden even from himself? Like maybe he thinks he's just being mature and balanced, but really, he's terrified of something. Maybe he's afraid of being vulnerable, you know? The King of Cups, he's got it all together, but the moon is like, what if he lets go? What if he shows you everything he's feeling? What if it's too much, or not enough? It's like his desire for reconciliation is there, but it's buried under layers of fear and uncertainty, like he's wandering in the dark, unsure of what's real and what's not, you know? And then with the Six of Swords, like, he's moving away, but the moon makes me think, is he really running towards something, or is he running away from his fears? Maybe he thinks distance will give him clarity, but really, it's just amplifying the illusions. He's trying to escape the chaos, but the chaos is inside him, isn't it? Like, the only way to find calmer waters is to face those hidden fears. And the Wheel of Fortune. This is where it gets really interesting, right? Because the wheel is turning, things are changing, but the moon suggests that the change might not be what it seems. Like, maybe he thinks fate is pushing him towards reconciliation, but what if it's really pushing him to confront his deepest fears first? Maybe the universe is saying, okay, you want this change, you want this reconciliation, then you gotta deal with your shadow self first. This clear quartz is really amplifying things, right? It's making me feel like these hidden desires are even more powerful than we thought, but also the fears are bigger too. It's like he's at a crossroads and he has to choose. Does he stay in the shadows or does he step into the light and face his truth? I am like, seriously on the edge of my seat to see what's coming next, you know. Okay, so the Eight of Swords. This card is all about feeling trapped, you know? Like you're surrounded by obstacles you can't see a way out. But the thing is, often, those obstacles are self-imposed, you know? Like the blindfold's on, but you could take it off. Ooh-oh. So with the King of Cups, maybe he feels like he has to be in control, he has to be mature, but that's actually trapping him. It's like he's built this prison for himself, and he doesn't even realize he has the key, you know? And the Six of Swords, like, he thinks he's moving towards calmer waters, but what if he's just carrying his self-imposed limitations with him? He's still trapped, just in a different location, you know? Like he can change his physical location, but the mental and emotional stuff is following right along with him, you know? It's so interesting how these cards are talking to each other. It really is, right? So, how's he feeling, right? Probably frustrated, definitely anxious. Like, he wants to reconcile the King of Cups, right? We know that, but he's so scared, the moon, and now he feels totally stuck, the Eight of Swords, paralyzed even. Maybe he's overthinking everything, analyzing every possible outcome, and that's just making it worse, you know? It's like he wants the Wheel of Fortune to just magically solve everything, but he's not willing to take off the blindfold and actually do something himself. Which makes me think that his hidden desire, it's still hidden even now, you know? So, he's desiring reconciliation, that's there for sure, but it's buried under layers of fear and control, and like a need to analyze everything, it's so interesting. But the Wheel of Fortune, right? Like, is fate actually trapping him here? Or is fate giving him the opportunity to break free? Maybe the universe is saying, okay, you feel stuck, but here's a chance to change things, to confront those fears, to take off the blindfold. The moon is still there, though, lurking, you know? So, even if he does take off the blindfold, will he actually see clearly? Or will his fears still distort his perception? It is so layered, you know? So much complexity in this situation, it's not easy, definitely not easy. Oh my gosh, what's gonna happen next? Okay, so now we have the Chariot, right? This card is all about willpower, determination, like taking charge. So how does this fit in with everything else we've seen? It's so interesting, I can't wait to see where it goes. So, like with the King of Cups, maybe he's realizing that controlling his emotions isn't the same as mastering them, you know. The Chariot's about harnessing that energy, like using his willpower to actually express his feelings instead of just suppressing them. Maybe he's finally ready to be vulnerable, to show you what's really in his heart, you know? I'm feeling that empowered energy from this clear quartz, are you? Like, he's deciding to take control of his emotions. With the Six of Swords, I was saying that he might be running away from his problems, but the Chariot makes me think maybe he's actually driving towards a goal. Maybe that distance was necessary for him to gather his strength, to figure out what he really wants, and now he's coming back full force. But is this desire coming from him, or something external? And the Wheel of Fortune, is fate pushing him towards reconciliation, or is he actively seizing the reins? It's like he's deciding to steer his own destiny. But what about the moon, right? The fears are still there, lurking in the shadows. Can he really overcome them? Like the Chariot is powerful, but the moon is sneaky, you know? It can throw you off course if you're not careful. So, is he facing his fears head-on, or is he still being driven by them, you know? Oh my gosh, and the Eight of Swords. He was feeling so trapped, but the Chariot, it's like he's breaking free. He's taking off the blindfold and saying, okay, I'm in control now, I'm choosing my own path. He is ready to reconcile. But wow, maybe that prison of his own making is dissolving now, you know. He is deciding to drive forward to meet you. Like, he's still working on it. He's still scared, but the Chariot is telling him that he can do this. So, what does this mean for the reconciliation? Is it going to be a smooth ride, or are there still going to be bumps in the road? Like, is he truly ready to face those hidden desires and fears? Okay, I'm so excited to see what the final card is, you know. Okay, here we go, the final card. Strength. Ooh, this is so perfect, you guys. Like, after all that, this card is exactly what he needs, you know? So, like the King of Cups, right? So in control, so composed, but now with strength, it's like he's learning that true strength isn't about suppressing emotions, it's about mastering them and mastering himself, you know. It's about having the courage to be vulnerable, to show his true feelings, even if it's scary. The moon, with all those hidden fears, like strength is saying, okay, those fears are there, but you can face them. You have the inner power to overcome them. It's like he's not denying the darkness, but he's choosing to walk through it with courage. Does that make sense? And then the Six of Swords and the Eight of Swords, like he's been feeling stuck and trying to move on, but strength is about finding the inner resources to break free. He can remove the blindfold. He can leave that difficult situation behind him, but it takes courage, doesn't it? It takes strength. The card represents that inner fire, that determination to create a better future for himself and you. He has to release those self-imposed restrictions, you know? Strength is like, okay, you're strong enough to do this, you're capable of handling whatever comes your way. Now, the Wheel of Fortune and the Chariot. The wheel says that fate is at play, but strength says that he also has agency. He can steer his own destiny. It's like fate might be giving him opportunities, but it's up to him to seize them with courage and conviction, right? He has the power to control his direction. The Chariot was about willpower, but strength adds compassion. So it's not just about driving forward, it's about leading with kindness, with understanding, especially towards himself, you know. So overall, strength is telling him that he has everything he needs inside him to make this reconciliation happen. It's not going to be easy, but it's going to be worth it. He needs to trust himself, to believe in himself, and to have the courage to communicate openly and honestly. This clear quartz is amplifying hope, right? And strength is showing him that he has the inner power to create the reconciliation he desires. Isn't that so amazing? What are your thoughts? So, like my friend, this whole reading has been building to this moment, right? From the King of Cups needing to show his emotions to this final strength, like wow, he has everything he needs. It's about courage. It's about inner resources. That moon, it's like his illusions can't stop him. This reconciliation, it needs him, my friend, to be his authentic self. And now, with strength, he can bring all of those things into alignment, you know? It's not just about getting back together. It's about becoming a stronger, more emotionally honest version of himself. For you, for himself, you know? The core wound that's causing problems, the strength card is so ready to handle all of that. Okay, so what does this actually look like in real life, right? I mean, how does he actually do this? First, he needs to acknowledge those fears, those insecurities, right? The moon is still there, so they're not going to magically disappear, but he can choose to face them with courage. So, I mean, like, therapy would be amazing, even just journaling, you know? Writing down his feelings, exploring where they come from, you know? Second, he needs to communicate openly and honestly. And like, this is going to be hard, especially for the King of Cups who's used to keeping everything bottled up inside. But it's so important. He needs to be vulnerable, to share his fears, his desires, his needs. And third, he needs to practice self-compassion, okay? Like, this isn't going to be perfect. He's going to make mistakes. There will be setbacks. And that's okay, you know? He needs to be kind to himself, to forgive himself, and to keep moving forward because he has all the tools ready to go, you know? The wheel and the chariot, like, whoa, it's all moving. You know, my friend, I am just so excited for you and him. This journey has been intense, but so rewarding. You chose the clear quartz cluster, right? Remember, that's about amplifying hope. And strength is showing you that there is so much hope here, you know? He has the inner power to create the reconciliation you both desire, not from a place of control or fear, but from a place of love and authenticity. Trust yourself, believe in yourself, and have the courage to communicate. I know that everything is going to be okay. This empowered energy, I am buzzing, are you? Everything's going to be amazing, my friend. You so got this. Bye. Hi there, welcome to your reading, and thank you so much for being here. If you chose this pile with the turquoise tree, remember that it's all about harmonizing, and this reading is themed around bridging divides. So, cultivating understanding and forgiveness for shared growth is the name of the game. Let's see how this plays out with these cards, because I'm already feeling some interesting vibes, okay? So, right off the bat, we have the Seven of Wands, the Ten of Cups, and the High Priestess all together. This is a powerful combination. It really speaks to a journey from feeling defensive and maybe a little attacked, to ultimately finding deep emotional fulfillment, but only by really trusting your intuition. It's like you have to stand your ground, but also be open to something more. Does that make sense? Let's dive into the Seven of Wands first. This card often shows up when you're feeling challenged, like you're having to defend your position or your beliefs. Maybe you feel like everyone's coming at you, and you're just trying to hold your own. In the context of reconciliation, this could mean that you feel like you have to protect yourself, maybe from getting hurt again. You might be hesitant to open up because you're afraid of being vulnerable. But the thing is, holding on to that defensiveness, it's actually blocking you from moving forward. It's like you're so busy fighting everyone off that you can't see the possibility of connection and understanding. You know, and maybe, just maybe, the other person feels the same way, so it becomes this standoff. Now we have the Ten of Cups, and oh my gosh, this is the card of emotional fulfillment, harmony, and just pure joy. It's that picture-perfect family scene where everyone's happy and content. This is what you're striving for, right? This is the potential outcome of bridging those divides. But here's the thing, you can't get to the Ten of Cups while you're still in the Seven of Wands energy. You have to release that defensiveness. You have to be willing to, drop your guard and open yourself up to the possibility of love and connection. And that's where the High Priestess comes in, because this card is all about intuition, inner wisdom, and trusting your gut. The High Priestess is telling you to go within, to listen to that still, small voice that knows what's best for you. What is your intuition telling you about this situation? Is it telling you to run for the hills, or is it telling you that there's still a chance for reconciliation, a chance for that Ten of Cups happiness? You have to trust yourself, you have to trust your inner guidance to navigate this situation with grace and wisdom. Okay. So, it's a journey from defensiveness to fulfillment, guided by your intuition. I am so excited to see how this unfolds. Okay, so we've seen this journey from feeling like you have to defend yourself with the Seven of Wands, right, to this potential of the Ten of Cups, which is all about amazing emotional fulfillment and using your intuition with the High Priestess to guide you. But now, we have the Nine of Swords, and oh honey, this card is heavy. This is the card of anxiety, worry, sleepless nights, when your mind just won't shut off. So how does this fit into the reconciliation picture? Well, I think it means that even though there's this desire for that Ten of Cups ending, this potential harmony, there's also a lot of fear and anxiety that's coming up. Maybe you're lying awake at night, just replaying past hurts, or imagining all the things that could go wrong if you try to reconcile. It's like, the closer you get to that potential happiness, the louder that inner critic gets, that voice that's saying, don't do it, you're going to get hurt again. And this card, the Nine of Swords, it really speaks to that vulnerability we talked about with the Seven of Wands, right? It's like opening yourself up to reconciliation means opening yourself up to the possibility of pain. And that's scary. Really scary. So maybe, just maybe, all this anxiety is actually masking a deeper desire, a hidden longing for connection that you're almost afraid to admit, even to yourself. But remember, you chose the turquoise tree pile, and that's all about harmonizing. So even in the midst of this anxiety, there's a possibility for finding peace, for soothing those worries, and for trusting that even if things don't go exactly as planned, you'll be okay. You know, you're strong. So the question is, can you find a way to quiet those anxious thoughts and trust your intuition, like the High Priestess is telling you, even when it feels like everything's falling apart? I wonder what the next card will reveal. Okay, so you're dealing with all of that anxiety, but now we pull the Tower, and oh my goodness, friend, this is huge. Like, this card is not subtle, right? The Tower is all about sudden change, upheaval, chaos, like everything just getting turned upside down. So, in a reconciliation reading, this can feel a little scary, I'm not gonna lie. It's like, what is this Tower moment going to be? But before you freak out, let's dig a little deeper, okay? The Tower often represents a breaking down of old structures that are no longer serving you. Think about it, all that defensiveness from the Seven of Wands, maybe those anxieties from the Nine of Swords, those are structures, right? They're ways of protecting yourself, but they might also be holding you back from that Ten of Cups happiness, that potential reconciliation. So, the Tower could be saying that something has to give, something has to break in order for you to move forward. Maybe it's a sudden realization, like a truth bomb that explodes and changes everything. Maybe it's an unexpected argument that forces you to confront some hard truths. Or it could even be an external event that just shakes things up completely. Whatever it is, the Tower is going to bring some intense energy. But remember that turquoise tree energy, right? Harmonizing. Even in the midst of chaos, there's an opportunity for growth and healing. Think of it like this. Sometimes you have to tear down an old building before you can build something new and better. The Tower is like the demolition crew coming in to clear the way. Now, it might be painful, it might be messy, but it's necessary. And the High Priestess, she knew this was coming, right? That intuition was probably giving you some hints, some warnings that things couldn't stay the way they were. So, don't resist the change, embrace it. Ask yourself what needs to be released, what old patterns need to be broken. This could be about them too, actually. Maybe they're going through their own Tower moment. And maybe, just maybe, this shared experience is actually what brings you closer together, like you're both rebuilding your lives, and you can do it together. Wow, this is intense. Even though the Tower can be scary, it can also be incredibly liberating. It's a chance to start fresh, to build something stronger and more authentic. So, take a deep breath, trust your intuition, and know that you're not alone. And it is important to remember that you chose this pile, and it is about bridging divides. So perhaps this Tower is what needed to happen. What will be built from the rubble? Okay, wow, so after all of that intense Tower energy, we now have the Moon, and ooh, this is interesting. Like, the Moon is so mysterious and dreamy. It definitely adds another layer, right? So, with the Tower shaking everything up, the Moon asks, like, what's lurking beneath the surface now? What hasn't been revealed yet? Remember, we talked about the Tower breaking down old structures. Well, the Moon suggests that there might be hidden emotions, hidden fears, or even hidden desires that are now coming to light because of all that upheaval. It's like the dust is settling, but you're still not seeing everything clearly. In terms of hidden desires for reconciliation, the Moon could mean that there are feelings that haven't been fully acknowledged or expressed. Maybe one or both of you are secretly longing for reconciliation, but you're afraid to admit it, even to yourselves. Or perhaps there are illusions or misunderstandings that are clouding the situation. The Moon can represent deception or a distorted view of reality, so it's possible that what you think is happening isn't actually the full picture. Maybe there's a story you're telling yourself, or a story they're telling themselves, that's keeping you apart, and you may not even be aware of it. It's like looking in a carnival mirror, you know? Everything's a little warped. And this card is also deeply emotional, right? The Moon is tied to our subconscious, our dreams, and our deepest feelings. So, it's possible that these hidden desires are rooted in some pretty intense emotions, maybe fears of vulnerability, or maybe even a deep-seated longing for that Ten of Cups, that ultimate happiness and fulfillment. The moon says to really pay attention to your dreams, to your intuition, because that's where these hidden feelings are likely to surface. That high priestess is coming back in. But be careful not to get lost in the illusions, okay? The moon can be tricky. It can lead you down the wrong path if you're not careful. So, trust your gut, but also be willing to look at things from a different perspective. What is that intuition really saying? I wonder what our final card will reveal and how it will help clarify these hidden desires. Okay, so after all that mysterious moon energy, we get the Empress. And oh my gosh, this is so interesting. This card is all about nurturing, abundance, fertility, just pure feminine energy. So what does that mean in terms of hidden desires for reconciliation? Well, the Empress often represents a desire to create, to nurture something beautiful and lasting. So maybe, just maybe, deep down, there's a hidden desire to build something new with this person, you know? To create a relationship that's even stronger and more fulfilling than before. Even after the Tower moment and all the hidden stuff coming up with the moon. It's things got shaken up, and there's still stuff to uncover, but the core desire to nurture and create is still there. And remember, we had that Ten of Cups earlier? The ultimate emotional fulfillment? I feel like the Empress is adding to that. It's not just about happiness, it's about building a foundation for lasting happiness. It's about creating a home, a family, a life together. But here's the thing, the Empress isn't just about romantic love, okay? It's also about self-love, self-care, and nurturing your own inner garden. So, maybe this hidden desire is actually about wanting to create a more loving and nurturing environment for yourself, regardless of whether or not reconciliation happens. Maybe you're realizing that you deserve to be treated with love and respect, and that you're no longer willing to settle for anything less. You know, this could mean that you're secretly hoping that this person has changed, that they're now capable of giving you the love and support that you need. Also, the Empress can sometimes represent a specific person, right? Maybe this card is actually about the other person in this situation. Maybe they're secretly longing to nurture you, to care for you, to create a safe and loving space for you. Maybe they've realized the value of what they lost, and they're now ready to step up and be the partner that you deserve. The High Priestess may have seen this. But remember, you chose the turquoise tree pile, which is all about harmonizing. So how can you bring that Empress energy into this situation, whether it's about yourself or the other person? Well, I think it's about focusing on creating a nurturing and supportive environment for yourself, first and foremost. It's about practicing self-care, setting boundaries, and honoring your own needs. And then, if reconciliation is meant to be, you'll be in a much better place to build something beautiful and lasting together. What will that look like? What will happen next? I wonder where we're going next. Okay, so after that beautiful Empress energy, we have the Devil, and I know, it looks scary, right? But hold on, don't panic. In this context, the Devil isn't about, actual evil, okay? It's more about the chains that bind us, those self-imposed limitations, those unhealthy attachments that keep us stuck. It is those limiting beliefs. It's about the things that are preventing you from reaching your full potential, from embodying that Empress energy. So, what does this mean for reconciliation and those hidden desires? Well, I think it means that there might be some unhealthy patterns or attachments that are getting in the way. Maybe there's a fear of commitment, or a tendency to repeat the same mistakes, or even an addiction to the drama. You know, it could be that you're holding onto resentment or anger from the past, and that's keeping you chained to this person, even if it's not good for you. Or maybe there's a sense of codependency, where you feel like you need this person to be happy, even if it's a toxic relationship. Remember that anxiety from the Nine of Swords? Maybe the Devil is fueling it. And that Tower moment? The Devil suggests those old structures might have been built on shaky ground to begin with. Maybe there were already unhealthy dynamics in place. So the breaking down was necessary, but now you have to be careful not to rebuild those same chains. The moon's hidden desires could be twisted by the Devil, making you crave something that's ultimately not good for you. So what do? First, self-awareness is key. Recognize those chains, those patterns. What are you attached to? What are you afraid of losing? Then, take responsibility. You have the power to break free, you know? It might not be easy, it might require some tough choices, but you can do it. The turquoise tree is about harmonizing, and that starts within yourself. Nurture yourself like the Empress, set boundaries, and choose what's best for your well-being. Whether reconciliation happens or not, you deserve to be free from those chains. Okay, so with the rose quartz heart, we're looking at harmonizing energies, and the theme is all about unveiling vulnerability and opening the heart to compassion, especially with reconciliation in mind. So, get ready for some tender vibes, okay? The cards are going to help us dive deep into their hidden desires. First up, we have the Emperor, right? So this person, your person, they project this image of being totally in control, like a rock, super strong. They probably come across as very grounded and stable to everyone around them, maybe even a little intimidating, you know? They've built this empire, this life, and they run it with an iron fist, or at least, that's what they want everyone to think. But here's the thing, emperors, even the strongest ones, have feelings too. I feel like underneath that tough exterior, there's a real vulnerability, maybe a fear of losing control, which is why they grip so tightly. They might be scared to show any weakness because they think it'll make them look bad, or that people will take advantage, you know. It's like they've built walls around their heart to protect themselves, but those walls are also keeping love out. Then we have the Eight of Pentacles, and this is where things get interesting. So, this card is all about hard work, dedication, and honing your skills. I feel like this person, instead of dealing with their emotions head-on, they're throwing themselves into their work like overdrive. It's a way to distract themselves, to keep busy so they don't have to think about the stuff that's really bothering them, you know? They're perfecting their craft, whatever that may be, becoming a master in their field. It's almost like they're trying to prove their worth through their achievements, like if they're successful enough, they won't have to deal with those pesky feelings. But the thing is, no amount of hard work can really bury those emotions forever, can it? And that leads us to the Five of Cups. Ooh, this is where it gets juicy, right? This card is all about regret, loss, and focusing on what's been spilled instead of what's still there. So, even though they're trying to be all strong and in control with the Emperor, and super busy with the Eight of Pentacles, there's this lingering sadness, this feeling that something's missing. They might be dwelling on past mistakes, things they wish they could take back, especially in this relationship with you, you know. And even though they're not showing it, I feel like deep down, there's this hidden desire for reconciliation, this hope that maybe, just maybe, things could be different. They're just so afraid to reach out, to be vulnerable, because what if they get rejected? What if it's too late? It's like they're stuck in this cycle of wanting something so badly, but being too afraid to go for it. There's so much more here, I can feel it. And that leads us to the Three of Swords. Oh honey, here we go. So this isn't exactly a walk in the park, is it? Three of Swords is, you know, it's Heartbreak City. It's that feeling of being stabbed in the back, that sudden, sharp pain that just takes your breath away, right? So, after all that Emperor energy, that trying to be strong, all that workaholic Eight of Pentacles energy, and even the Five of Cups with the regret, this card is like the dam finally breaking. It's like all those suppressed emotions are just bursting to the surface, and it's not pretty, you know. This could be a past wound that's being reopened, or it could be something that's happening right now, something directly related to you and them. Maybe they feel betrayed, or maybe they feel like they've betrayed you, or even themselves. The rose quartz is harmonizing, though, so this card could represent a deeply buried wound that needs to be addressed. It could be their fears about vulnerability and opening up have been realized. The card is about facing the truth, however painful. It suggests that the only way to heal is to acknowledge the hurt and allow oneself to feel it fully. You know, that whole gotta feel it to heal it thing? It's like they can't keep running from these feelings anymore. The universe is forcing them to confront the pain, even if it's the last thing they want to do. So, it's like this heartbreak is intensifying that longing for reconciliation, but at the same time, it's making it seem even more impossible, right? They want to fix things, but how can they when they're in so much pain? See, this Three of Swords, it's not just about sadness. It's about clarity too. It's like this pain is forcing them to see things as they really are, not how they want them to be. The harmonizing rose quartz is asking them to open their heart to compassion and understanding. It is like this heartbreak is a wake-up call. This painful experience is going to force them to reevaluate everything, to finally be honest with themselves and with you. The thing about the Three of Swords is that once you acknowledge the pain, you can start to heal, you know. There's still more to uncover here, I can feel it. There's still more to uncover here, I can feel it, and now we have the Page of Swords. Okay, so after all that heartbreak from the Three of Swords, this feels like a little ray of hope, you know. But it's also kind of tricky, because the Page of Swords, they're all about new ideas and communication, but sometimes they can be a little, how do I put this, a little scattered, a little all over the place, you know? So, with the Emperor, they're trying to be strong. The Eight of Pentacles is hard work, the Five of Cups regret, the Three of Swords heartbreak. The Page of Swords is like a new thought, a new idea, maybe even a message coming their way that could totally shift their perspective, but only if they're open to it. It's like, after all that emotional turmoil, they're finally starting to see things a little differently, maybe realizing that they can't keep running from their feelings, you know? But because it's the Page of Swords, it's important to consider that, like, it's early stages, right? This isn't some fully formed plan, just an initial idea. But hey, baby steps, okay. It's like their heart is opening, just a crack, with the compassion of the rose quartz, and they're like, wait a minute, maybe, just maybe, there's another way. This card, you know, it can also represent someone who is very observant and curious. So maybe they're starting to pay closer attention to the situation between you two. They're gathering information, trying to figure out what went wrong, what they could have done differently, and what they can do now. They are kinda like a detective, piecing together the clues. But here's the thing, the Page of Swords can sometimes get caught up in their head, overthinking things, and this could add to the initial problem, you know. The thing is, this new idea, this new message, it's not going to magically solve everything. It's just the first step, and they're going to have to be really careful about how they communicate, because the Page of Swords can sometimes be a little bit clumsy with their words, you know? But again, with the rose quartz, it's harmonizing. It's like the universe is nudging them towards reconciliation, but they're going to have to put in the work, to be really honest with themselves, you know? The universe is giving them a chance to speak their truth, okay. The universe wants them to get ready to listen, too. So yeah, this Page of Swords is bringing a glimmer of hope, but it's also a reminder that communication is key, vulnerability is essential, and that there's still a lot of work to be done. Okay, so after the Page of Swords, all that new communication stuff, we've got the World card. Like, wow, right? It's a major arcana, so this is big energy coming in, major energy. This card, the World, it's about completion, it's about fulfillment, it's about reaching the end of a cycle, but in a good way, you know. I mean, like it could mean they're finally realizing that they can't keep living like this, they can't keep being the stone-cold emperor, you know? All work and no play with the Eight of Pentacles. So, this card, it's like a sense of finally understanding something, a big picture kind of thing, you know. After all that heartbreak and regret that we saw with the Five of Cups and Three of Swords, this could mean they're finally starting to see the light, like everything is coming together and clicking, you know? But also, it can be like they realize they still have a journey, that it's not over, if that makes sense. See, it's about understanding where you've been, what you've learned, and where you're going. It's like they've gone through all this stuff, the good, the bad, and the ugly, and now they're coming out on the other side with a new perspective and a deeper understanding of themselves and this situation with you. So, with the World card, they could have this sense of like, oh, I get it now. Maybe they finally understand why things didn't work out the first time, or what they need to do to make things right this time around, you know? It's about seeing the whole picture, like all the pieces of the puzzle finally fitting together. And with the Rose Quartz, it means they're ready to open their hearts to compassion and understanding. They could be ready to forgive themselves and to forgive you too. They can see all the hurt, but now can see past it, you know? They can see the potential for a new beginning, a fresh start. They are starting to drop their guard. All the emotional defenses they built up with the Emperor, they're like, okay, I'm ready to be vulnerable now. They might realize that true strength isn't about being in control all the time, but about being open to love and connection. This is such a powerful card with the other cards we have here. It's like all their experiences have led them to this point, this moment of clarity and understanding. It's like they're finally ready to embrace the future and to create a new chapter in their lives, hopefully with you, you know. But remember, it's still a process. And we end with the Nine of Swords, oh dear. I mean, this card, it's not the most fun card to get, right? After the breakthrough of the World card, it's like, bam, back to the dark night of the soul, you know. So with all that Emperor energy, that workaholic Eight of Pentacles vibe, all that regret with the Five of Cups, the heartbreak of the Three of Swords, the hope with the Page of Swords, and finally seeing the big picture with the world. This Nine of Swords is like all that progress. Yeah, well, now they're up at 3 a.m., staring at the ceiling, totally consumed by anxiety. It's like even though they had that moment of clarity, those fears, those worries, they're still there, lurking in the shadows, you know? The harmonizing rose quartz can offer some solace, but this card says it is an intense struggle to see and feel. It is not to be invalidated. This could be anxiety about the situation with you, you know. Like they had that moment of clarity with the world, but now they're freaking out about actually doing something about it. Like, oh my God, what if I reach out and you reject me? What if I mess things up even worse? It's like that fear of failure is just paralyzing them. Or it could be that all this emotional stuff has just stirred up some deep-seated anxieties that have nothing to do with you directly, you know? Like, maybe they have some past trauma that's resurfacing, and they're just overwhelmed. It's like all those old wounds are being reopened. The Nine of Swords, like, it's not just about being worried, it's about being tormented by your thoughts, you know? It's that feeling of being trapped in your own head, unable to escape the negative spiral. But the thing is, with the rose quartz, it wants them to open their heart to compassion and understanding, even for themselves, you know? So this card is asking them to be gentle with themselves, to acknowledge their fears, but not to let those fears control them. The Nine of Swords, it's a reminder that healing isn't always linear. There are going to be ups and downs, good days and bad days, and that's okay, it's part of the process. The key is to not give up, to keep moving forward, even when it feels impossible. It is asking them to remember the clarity they found with the World card, okay. It's telling them that the potential for reconciliation is still there, but they need to find a way to manage their anxiety, to silence that inner critic, that mean voice in their head that's telling them they're not good enough. You know, with the rose quartz it is like opening up the heart. So yeah, this Nine of Swords is a tough card, but it's also a reminder that even in the darkest of times, there's always hope, as the rose quartz also indicates. It's like they're being asked to have faith, to trust that things will eventually get better, and to keep moving forward. Okay, so after all that, all those ups and downs, we end with the Three of Cups. I mean, isn't that just like the best feeling ever? To go from the Nine of Swords, that anxiety-ridden place, to this card of celebration and joy? Okay, let's unpack it. So think about it, after all that Emperor energy, all that hard work, all that regret and heartbreak, they're finally ready to let loose a little, you know? The Three of Cups is like, it's time to celebrate the small victories, to appreciate the good things in life, and to surround themselves with people who lift them up, you know? It's like they're finally realizing that they don't have to go through this alone. Okay? This could mean that, like, they're ready to reconnect with old friends or to make new ones. To build a support system that's going to help them through the tough times, right? You know, the rose quartz is about harmonizing. This is about harmonizing their social life. But here's where it gets really interesting with your situation. The Three of Cups can also represent reconciliation, right? So, after all that, the journey. This could mean they're finally ready to celebrate a reunion with you, to put the past behind them, and to create a new, joyful chapter in their relationship. In your relationship, you know. It's like, after all that heartbreak with the Three of Swords, all that anxiety, they're realizing that life is too short to hold grudges. It's time to forgive and to move on, to celebrate the love that you share, or once shared, you know? This also means they need to approach the situation with an open heart, right? A willingness to communicate honestly, to be vulnerable, and to really listen to what you have to say. It's like the rose quartz is just shining, opening, reminding them to lead with compassion and understanding. What does this mean for you? Well, it means that you need to be open to receiving their energy, their reaching out, right? Don't shut them down immediately. Give them a chance to explain themselves, to show you that they've changed, to show their commitment. But also, you need to protect your own heart, okay? Don't be afraid to set boundaries, to tell them what you need in order to feel safe and secure in this relationship or potential relationship, you know. The Three of Cups is asking you both to come together in a spirit of joy and celebration, to create a relationship that's based on mutual respect, trust, and of course, love. So yeah, this is a really beautiful card to end on. It's a reminder that even after the toughest of times, there's always hope for healing, for reconciliation, and for a future filled with joy. Remember the rose quartz. Keep your heart open, keep your love open, you got this.